Have you ever noticed how easy it is to spend hours scrolling through social media, or how quickly time flies when you're absorbed in a video game? These activities are designed to be instantly engaging. They release dopamine, a chemical in our brain that makes us feel good. Now think about studying for an exam or working on a complex project. These tasks require effort and focus. They don't offer the same immediate rewards as scrolling or gaming. Our brains aren't wired to naturally gravitate towards these activities. This difference in our experience highlights a fundamental aspect of human motivation. We are drawn to activities that promise pleasure and ease. Our brains are constantly seeking ways to conserve energy and maximize reward. This natural tendency, while helpful in some contexts, can make it challenging to engage in activities that are important for our long-term well-being. Dopamine is often referred to as the feel-good chemical. While it does play a role in experiencing pleasure, its primary function is much more nuanced. Dopamine is the driving force behind motivation and reward-seeking behavior. Imagine dopamine as a little messenger in your brain. Every time you do something pleasurable or rewarding, dopamine is released, delivering a message. That felt good, let's do it again. This message strengthens the neural pathways associated with that behavior, making you more likely to repeat it in the future. This mechanism is essential for survival. It motivates us to seek food, water, and social connection, all crucial for our well-being. However, in our modern world, this system can be easily hijacked. Our environment is saturated with stimuli designed to trigger dopamine release. From sugary snacks to addictive apps, we're constantly bombarded with opportunities for instant gratification. A classic experiment with rats illustrates the power of dopamine in driving behavior. Scientists implanted electrodes in the brains of rats, specifically in the area associated with dopamine release. These rats were then placed in a box with a lever. When the rats pressed the lever, a small electrical current stimulated their brains, causing a surge of dopamine. The results were astonishing. The rats became fixated on pressing the lever, ignoring their basic needs like food and water. They would continue to press the lever repeatedly, even to the point of exhaustion. This experiment highlights the potent influence of dopamine on behavior. When we experience a surge of dopamine, our brains become wired to seek out that experience again and again. This understanding is crucial to understanding why we find it so challenging to resist the allure of high dopamine activities, even when we know they might not be in our best interest. Our digital world is a master at exploiting our dopamine system. Social media platforms, video games, and streaming services are engineered to deliver endless streams of content designed to keep us engaged. Every notification, like, and comment triggers a small surge of dopamine. This constant reinforcement creates a powerful feedback loop, making it increasingly difficult to disengage. The ease with which we can access these high dopamine experiences further amplifies the problem. With just a few taps on our smartphones, we can instantly access a world of entertainment and distraction. This constant exposure to high dopamine stimuli has a profound impact on our brains. It alters our baseline levels of dopamine, leading to a phenomenon known as dopamine tolerance. Dopamine tolerance occurs when our brains become accustomed to high levels of dopamine. As we engage in more and more high dopamine activities, we require higher and higher levels of stimulation to achieve the same feeling of reward. Imagine it like this. If you eat a piece of cake every day, eventually one piece won't be as satisfying as it used to be. You'll need to eat more cake to achieve the same level of sweetness and enjoyment. The same principle applies to dopamine. When we're constantly flooded with dopamine, our brains become desensitized to its effects. This leads to a vicious cycle. We need more and more stimulation to experience the same level of reward, leading to further desensitization. This is why low dopamine activities like reading a book, having a conversation, or spending time in nature can start to feel boring or unappealing. Our brains crave the intense stimulation they're used to, and these quieter activities can't compete. The good news is that we can reset our brain's sensitivity to dopamine. By strategically reducing our exposure to high dopamine activities, we can break free from the dopamine trap and regain control over our attention and motivation. This is where the concept of a dopamine detox comes in. A dopamine detox involves temporarily abstaining from or significantly reducing engagement in activities that trigger high levels of dopamine. This might sound daunting, but it's not about deprivation. It's about creating space for your brain to recalibrate and rediscover the joy in simpler, more meaningful activities. By intentionally choosing to engage in low dopamine activities, we can retrain our brains to find pleasure and satisfaction in experiences that are not inherently stimulating. Embarking on a dopamine detox doesn't require a complete overhaul of your life. Start by identifying the high dopamine activities that tend to consume most of your time and energy. Consider gradually reducing your engagement with these activities. Instead of scrolling through social media for an hour, try limiting it to 30 minutes. During your detox, make a conscious effort to engage in activities that you know are good for you, but might not offer the same instant gratification. This could include reading a book, going for a walk in nature, spending time with loved ones, or pursuing a hobby. Remember, the goal is not to eliminate all sources of pleasure from your life. It's about creating a healthier balance and regaining control over your dopamine system. One of the most rewarding aspects of a dopamine detox is rediscovering the simple joys in life. When we're constantly bombarded with high-intensity stimulation, it's easy to lose sight of the beauty in everyday experiences. As you reduce your exposure to high dopamine activities, pay attention to how you feel when you engage in low dopamine activities. You might be surprised to find that activities you once considered boring can be incredibly fulfilling. The key is to approach these activities with an open mind and a willingness to be present in the moment. In our fast-paced world, boredom has become something to be feared and avoided at all costs. However, boredom plays a vital role in our mental and emotional well-being. When we allow ourselves to experience boredom, we create space for our minds to wander, to daydream, and to tap into our creativity. Boredom can be a catalyst for innovation and self-discovery. By embracing boredom as a natural part of the human experience, we can reduce our reliance on external sources of stimulation and develop a greater appreciation for the present moment. Reclaiming your focus and attention in a world designed to distract you is an ongoing process. Here are a few strategies to help you stay on track. Set realistic goals. Start with small, achievable goals. Instead of aiming for a complete digital detox, try reducing your social media use by 30 minutes each day. Create a supportive environment. Surround yourself with people who support your goals. Let your friends and family know that you're trying to be more mindful of your dopamine intake. Practice mindfulness. Pay attention to how you feel when you engage in different activities. Notice how your body and mind respond to high dopamine versus low dopamine experiences. Be kind to yourself. It's okay to slip up. If you find yourself mindlessly scrolling through social media, don't beat yourself up about it. Just gently redirect your attention back to your chosen activity. Remember, the goal is not to achieve perfection but to make progress. Every step you take toward reclaiming your focus is a step in the right direction. Dopamine is not the enemy. In fact, it can be a powerful ally in achieving your long-term goals. The key is to understand how it works and to use it to your advantage. By being mindful of your dopamine intake and by engaging in activities that provide deep, intrinsic satisfaction, you can harness the power of dopamine to create a life that is both meaningful and fulfilling. Remember, you have the power to choose how you manage your dopamine. By making conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy, you can break free from the dopamine trap and create a life that is aligned with your values and aspirations. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful and want to see more content like this, don't forget to hit the like button. It really helps the channel grow and lets YouTube know that people enjoy videos like these. And of course, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss any future uploads. We're building a community focused on self-improvement, motivation, and productivity, so join us as we work towards achieving our goals together.